Welcome to Glorious Botafogo. One more video here at the end of the year. This is the best place for Botafogo news in English. And I told you guys, if something major would happen, I would come back here. Now, I waited a few days because today is Sunday. So I think it was on Thursday and then Friday. The news broke out that Marlon Freitas, Botafogo captain and a key player in 2024, especially in leadership, both on and off the pitch. Marlon Freitas is getting sold to Palmeiras. And this brought a lot of feelings for Botafogo supporters online, especially people saying that, you don't sell Marlon Freitas to the local market. You don't sell Marlon Freitas at all. You don't sell if you're going to sell Marlon Freitas, sell him abroad, which is, in my opinion, what should be happening. If you're going to sell Marlon Freitas, it needs to be abroad, not to a team that's a direct competitor of Botafogo, as it has been these last two seasons, which is Palmeiras. Botafogo has just strengthened Palmeiras' midfield and weakened our midfield, and the reference in leadership. So I think, as far as that is concerned, it's a big loss. Now, if we're gonna say, do you prefer Marlon Freitas or Danilo to be the number 8? I'm gonna say Danilo. Marlon has always had the best passing in the league, especially in the final third. Not so much in assists, but he usually makes the pass that creates the play that will generate the assist. Right? He's that guy, which is very important. But Marlon isn't necessarily the best player in knowing when to attack the ball. He can mark pretty well, right? He'll follow the runs. But when it comes to doing those challenges, the 1v1 challenges to steal the ball or to intercept the ball, he's not the best. And we've seen that in a few games, in the last two seasons, where Marlon just kind of watched the guy try to go get the ball. He didn't really get him, or didn't really mark him at all. And then the other team just went on and scored, right? So yeah, that happened. But I think in terms of the message you send to the local market, it's like, hey, you can come grab our players and we'll just let them go. Because John Texture said that you have to be a champion for the players first before you're a champion for the fans. And we're here to fulfill dreams of players and all this and all that, which I don't agree with. I mean, yes, you have to be a champion for the players before you are a champion for the supporters, but not in this way. Not in just letting them go and go to wherever they asked and do whatever you want, do whatever they're asking you to do. And to me, that's not the way it needs to be. Now, Botafogo and Palmeiras, we're talking about how to transfer Marlon Freitas, and it's a good lump sum of money. It's about 6 million euros. It's like 35 million reais, which is a lot of money for a 30-year-old player that in the middle of the year would have been able to sign a contract and leave for free at the end of the year. I would not want Marlon Freitas to leave for free, because he does have a market, as Palmeiras just, as they proved it. But, I definitely would want him to go to a local market. But it is what it is. I mean, Marlon Freitas knew that he was going to be placing his idol status at Botafogo in jeopardy, and he has. Botafogo fans will be forever grateful to Marlon Freitas. But I would not be surprised if his face gets removed from the big banner that has all of the major icons in the history of Botafogo, because Luis Henrique and Marlon Freitas got added to that. So I would not be surprised if they remove that part. Marlon Freitas did it to himself. It's incredible how some of these players can be incredibly stupid. I don't know if it's stupidity of just being naive. Either way, Marlon Freitas was stupid and naive to leave. It's just so dumb, in my opinion. But again, it is what it is. Marlon Freitas is a big boy. He can deal with the consequences as the consequences reveals itself. So it is what it is. Now, in terms of other transfers, Villalba is officially a Botafogo player. He was approved in the fitness exams, and he should be coming to Botafogo in the coming week. Martin Anselmi. Martin Anselmi should be also arriving on the 2nd of January. He has been working with the Botafogo scouting department to map out names, and a lot of the players that were rumored to be signed, a lot of them, their negotiations have been stopped or just outright canceled. But a couple of players that Botafogo is still negotiating with is Julio Romão, which is more of a center defensive mid. But a lot of these other names that were talked about, like the São Paulo players and some of these other players from different parts of the world, are no longer negotiating. Anselmi says that he feels like the club has an adequate amount of players on the sides, so the so-called wingers, and the focus should be on the defense and the focus should be on the midfield. So probably some attacking, defensive, and just straight up center midfielders. There were a couple of rumors, right? Some of these rumors from the biggest players in the squad as well, like Barbosa, which the club is working on renewing its contract. Alex Telles, which the club is working on renewing his contract. And per Alexis Telles' wife, they are staying. And then Savarino is a big question mark because he's been offered to a few teams, São Paulo, even back to Atlético Mineiro. But now it seems like Corinthians is the team that's, in the running. If there is going to be a club that Savarino would transfer over, that club would be Corinthians. And there is a trade being talked about, which is Savarino goes over there and Botafogo receives Gustavo Henrique and Ranieri, which Ranieri is a good player. Corinthians says that Felix Torres was offered instead. Torres is a center back, which is one of the positions that Botafogo is looking for, and he is a center back that will be at the World Cup for Ecuador in 2026. We will see if that's an even trade or not. I feel like it's, Botafogo and Anselmi have to do it, the due diligence to see if that's a player that's really going to be working out for Botafogo, and then see what the market value is, and then see if the trade is even good. But yeah, that is mainly the main ones. And I guess another big transfer rumor that is Botafogo adjacent is that with Flamengo not being able to renew the contract of Felipe Luis, Arthur Jorge comes up as one of the biggest names to substitute Felipe Luis. Arthur Jorge already told Flamengo that he would negotiate, which for Botafogo fans, losing Marlon Freitas and seeing Arthur Jorge and Flamengo would just be, a punch in the gut, especially Arthur Jorge going to Flamengo to manage there. That'd be just such a punch in the gut. Arthur Jorge has said that he would like to return to Brazil, but we don't know. We will see. Anselmi is already announced as a coach, so nothing like that it's going to happen here at Botafogo. But again, that is all for today. If you haven't gotten here, if you haven't subscribed and liked so far, please do. It really helps out the channel. It's December 28th. There's 4 days left in the year. A lot could happen. So if something else happens again, I will come back and give you guys more news. So hopefully it's all good news and not some bad news for us. If I don't see you again, happy 2026.